Hey y'all, Teresa here, and for this video I'm going to tell you the story about how my fiance and I met and are getting married in less than 6 months. It sounds crazy when I talk about it, but when I tell the story it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, so if you want to hear the story about how Tyler and I are getting married, actually, if I look at the date today, we're getting married in, 15 days? So if you want to hear that story, then let's just get on into that. Okay, so we have two different people in two different states. We have Tyler in Nebraska and Teresa in California, right? So he's been online dating for 12 days. I have not been intentionally online dating for a while, for a few weeks, few months maybe. Like I had kind of gone on a couple of dates with people that I had found online, on Christian Mingle specifically. And I realized that I was not happy with what I was finding, and I realized that I was really busy with life. And so I stopped using dating apps because I was like, I am in school, I am working, I'm trying to get my life together. And at that time as well, my niece was in town and I had her for an entire week. And so I was responsible for this tiny human and didn't have a lot of time. I'll have to say, I was also going through a purging phase of getting rid of a lot of spam and emails and getting rid of things that were cluttering my life. And that included spam emails. And so whenever I would get these emails to things that I was no longer using, I would go to unsubscribe from them from their website. And so what was happening was I got an email from Christian Mingle, and it was saying, I got this message from this guy on January 5th, 2020. And I got this message from somebody. And so what I was going to do was go to this message and I was going to read it and then unsubscribe from Christian Mingle, delete everything on there because I hadn't been using it. It wasn't intentional. So I went to go unsubscribe, but that took me first to his message because I clicked the link that said that he had sent a message. And it just said something like, hi, you look really sweet and kind and we seem to have a lot in common. How's your day going? I hope it's been good, or something like that. And I was like, okay, this is a nice message. I'll talk to this guy. I didn't talk to him. I was like, I'll read his profile. And so I clicked on his profile and it was Nebraska. And I was like, oh, heck no. Why would I talk to this guy? He's in Nebraska. I'm currently in Nebraska, so obviously I talked to the guy. But I looked at his profile and was like, it's in freaking Nebraska. Why would I talk to this guy? I actually had a setting that was I only want to talk to guys within 25 miles of me, and that had clearly gone well so far. And so I was like, I'm not going to give this guy a chance. But his picture, he was so cute. So I was like, okay, I will look at his profile. It's fine. And he, in his picture, actually the picture that he had, he was in hiking things and he was at some outdoor thing, which is very much my thing. I love being outside and exploring and trying new things and hiking and all of that. So I go to read his profile and it says, loves kids, loves Jesus, can't pick favorites, things like Bible verses and colors, though he has a favorite color. So, he is minimalist, all of these things that I was just like, wow, he wants to live a simpler life. And he talked about how he wants to be more positive, that he's working on it. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's kind of what I've been doing for the last few years of my life, is really working on my positivity. And I was like, that's a great encouragement. Maybe we could encourage each other to be positive, So January 6th, the next day, because I think he messaged me at night and I am not a night owl. I was going to bed at 8:30 with my niece. And I got the message the next morning and I responded and I said, hi, it's nice to meet you, or something like that. I saw your profile and I saw that you're in Nebraska. I don't really know what to say about that because that's really far away, but hi, I see what you're interested in and I'd love to talk to you more about it. And then 4 days later, he asked me to be his girlfriend. So here we are, January 10th, 5 days after he sent this message, 4 days after we started communicating really. And I have this man in my life who I don't really know that well. And he's my boyfriend. And we'd talked probably 20 hours or more that week, which doesn't sound like a lot. It really doesn't. But when you're just video chatting and you're just talking, it was we just talked about everything under the sun. And it was great. And so, start dating January 10th. And we realized quickly long distance is not fun. And, soon he realizes oh, I have this time that I can take off work and I can come meet you in person. And so, February 29th, so a month and a half later, he flew to California and I picked him up from the airport. And it was the craziest, weirdest feeling of my entire life to just like see him in real life coming down the escalator. And oh, it was so cool to just like be like, oh, he's a real person, like, you know. And so I'm not looking at the camera. I haven't been looking at this camera the whole time, I'm realizing. Sorry, guys. But I see him at the airport. We hugged for a really long time, and I'm just like, wow, he's real. Like, it's not a fake thing. He's not catfishing me, you know. He made me so happy. And what you don't know is before that even happened, we actually had told each other that we loved each other. It's not something I do lightly. It's not something I've said it before, and I kind of wish I hadn't. But like, this was like, I knew I wanted to spend the rest of my life with this man. And like within 6 weeks, we were talking about marriage and kids and all of those things, because when you're video chatting, that's all you can do is talk about life. And so he told me on Valentine's Day, and I'm pretty sure I told him a couple of days before, maybe the week before. So he came on February 29th, and we spent 4 or 5 days together. I went to work a couple of times, and he, spent the time getting to know the area because he wanted to see what it was like if he wanted to move there and stuff like that. And so he did that, and then on I think it was the 4th of March, maybe the 5th, he flew back to Nebraska. Now, keep in mind, so he flew in the end of February, and things with COVID were starting to like ramp up just a little bit. And then by the time he left, it was a lot higher thing, and it was less than a week that he had been there. And so by the time he got home, he was starting to like, okay, I'm a little bit worried. Things with COVID seemed to be real and interesting, and like we were all still kind of learning about the whole situation. And so we spent our goodbyes were so difficult. It was so hard because we didn't know when we were going to see each other again. And we realized like, this is what we wanted forever. And so that was difficult. But what we ended up doing is video chatting every day, talking all the time, like we normally would, like after classes or in between classes, or, I'd call him on my way home from work, or because I had a 45-minute commute, that kind of thing. We talked every day. We were very intentional about that. We just made sure that it was a healthy balance. We had could go to bed at a specific time because he had an hour ahead of me, and he had work to go to early in the morning, and I had work early in the morning and classes and all of that. And so we'd talk every night, and I think we had a curfew of like 10 o'clock, which I'm a grandma, so that was actually late for me. And so, we were very intentional with our communication. Well, then fast forward to March 19th, and the world is in chaos. The United States is in chaos. COVID has entered the US, and things have gotten bad. And I'm realizing, like, my school has shut down. We have no more classes in person. My job has said, we're going to put you on hold for a while because we don't know if we're going to need you, that kind of thing. And it was like, I have nothing going here. I have people that I want to see, but I can't because it's not safe and all of that. And I'm in California, so of course it's like the cases are a lot higher, and like it's a new thing, so we're still learning about it. Everyone's kind of afraid. And what I ended up doing is the day that California closed was the day that I flew out of California and landed in Nebraska. So March 20th, I hopped on a flight, because the 19th I purchased a flight, 20th I hopped on a flight, and I have been here ever since. So it is now July 3rd. So I've been here 3.5 months now. And in that 3.5 months, a lot has changed. We got to spend an astronomical amount of time together, which was really good. Spent a lot of time communicating and talking and praying and we finally got to start going back to church, I don't know, in May, I want to say. And things got hard again, because it was like, okay, well, COVID seems to be wearing off. That's a lie now, but COVID seems to be wearing off. I'm a little nervous that I'm going to have to go back to California, go back to work, go back to school, those kinds of things. And we need to start considering what that's going to look like. And in that came the conversation again of marriage. And it was, okay, are we going to get married next year? Are you going to move to California, and we're just going to be, dating? Like, I feel awful that you would move to California while we're dating, because I feel like that's like a lot of pressure to put on somebody. What are we going to do? And so we begin talking more and more about it very seriously. There's a lot of emotion for me of just like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to leave you, but I also need to be responsible for myself and financially and all of that. And of course he understood. So fast forward, June 10th was our 5-month anniversary. And then we decided to go on a little date on the 11th. Little did I know that he had different plans than just date. So June 11th, he took me to this place. We watch the sunset a lot, and we have this place that we go to that's about a half an hour from his house. It's now 30 seconds from mine. So he drives half an hour. We go to our place to watch the sunset over a baseball field, kind of just our thing. And we have a little picnic because that's what kind of, again, what we do. And he says, I have a present for you in the car. I'll be right back. And he goes to the car and I come back. I'm not suspicious at all. I'm just like, okay, what's going on? And I'm like, okay, he bought me a gift. He doesn't normally do that because he's a minimalist, but let's, see where this goes. And so I'm sitting there and he hands it to me and it's a wrapped present. And I'm just like, what is this? This is weird. And I open it and it's just like this really cute, like kind of like a makeup travel bag that talks about being beautiful on the inside and out, and like how your beauty isn't always in your looks, but that I am beautiful, but like my heart and my soul are what is beautiful. And he tells me that a lot. I open the bag and inside of it is a journal. I'm a writer. I call his car the adventure car, so he called it the adventure journal. And it's got a lock. It's made out of leather. It's beautiful. And it just says, this is our adventure journal. Let's start our journey. Now let's record all of our adventures in this journal starting tonight. Turn the page to start the journey. And then it says, how about we start this journey tonight? Will you marry me? And I was just like, what? Because I thought we had settled on like, we're going to get married next year. Like it's not, we're going to get engaged next year, get married next year. Like it's not like a rush situation. We're not rushing, but it's not like we have to do this or something like that. It was just like a possible consideration to get married this summer. And so he proposes and I'm in complete and total shock. I'm sobbing. And I actually asked him, are you proposing to me? Because it was just like, what? I didn't see it coming, like I said. And the answer was, yes, he was proposing. I mean, I got a ring. I got a wedding dress to prove it. But we're sitting there and talking after it, I'm like, this is the most amazing moment that I never pictured would ever happen in my life. And he's mid-conversation, he goes, well, yeah, if we're going to get married this summer. And I just said, what? Stop. What's happening? And I was like, what do you mean this summer? I was like, we're getting married this summer? He goes, well, yeah. And I was like, and I just burst into tears all over again. Because it's like having a second proposal happen when it was just like, oh my gosh, when is this happening? So, July 18th. A month and 7 days after he proposes, we are getting married. Which is, today is July 3rd. So again, July 3rd, we have 15 days until our wedding. And it has been the craziest 3 weeks of our lives, my life specifically. I mean, I know his too, but fast forward to now, it's been 3 weeks, since 3 weeks yesterday. Wow, it's been 22 days since he proposed. Okay. It's been 22 days since he proposed. And I have been out of town twice to shop for the wedding and to get my wedding dress or get it fitted and then go pick it up. We've gone another place out of town, not far, but to get my wedding ring, get it sized, pick it up, and my engagement ring. He proposed with the journal, which is what I would want, and he knows that, and he did a great job with it. But he did not have a ring at the time because he had decided, like, I'm not going to have time to wait for a ring to come in if we're going to plan this wedding. We've done invitations. We've done the Zoom invitations. I'm staring at flowers over there. I've ordered flowers for my bouquet. I've done music. I've got decorations. I've got all the plans. And it's just like we've been doing counseling. We did pre-engagement counseling months ago, and we are in premarital counseling now. It's crazy. And we've been doing a lot to prepare for this wedding. And like I said, I have been in class also. So I spend 9 to 10 hours a week taking classes, which is not long when I consider that I normally spend, 35 hours a week. But I'm taking a 6-week class, which means I have triple the amount of work as a normal class. And I have 2 weeks left. It actually finishes the day of our wedding. So I'm hopefully going to be done that Monday. That's the prayer, because I picked my sister up from the airport that Tuesday. This is a long story. I am amazed and I'm shocked and I am in love and I am so happy to be experiencing the life that I am experiencing. 2020 has been the most devastating year for a lot of people, whether it's with the Black Lives Matter movement and the death of George Floyd, or if it's with, being closed out of churches or being closed out of shopping, or, the normal routines. It's COVID and people are getting sick and dying. These things that are, things have been so out of whack for me and for everybody else, but I have to say that it's been the best thing to happen to me. outside of obviously the uncomfortable parts of like sickness and fear, which I am much better at because, I trust in God and all of that, but it's like sickness and being careful and wearing a mask in public and doing those things, I've had the best year of my life. I spent, the first few months in classes, and then I finished my semester via online, and that was terrible. I will say that was awful. But at the same time, I was in Nebraska with the man of my dreams, who I'm going to marry in just a few days. And while circumstances kind of suck, they're not ideal at this point for anybody, God has provided for me. I mean, I am in Nebraska. I am moving to California. I'm going back home, and I'm going to be married to the man of my dreams. My school just announced that they're going to be back open, so we are going back to California. I have to go. It's like these things are all coming together like coincidentally, and I don't believe that, but COVID has been the best thing for our relationship because it kind of forced us together. I mean, I could have chosen not to come, but it kind of brought us together and tightened that bond. And I think that we wouldn't be getting married so quickly if we didn't have COVID happen, because long distance is a lot of work. And in person is a lot of work too. But because we've got so much intentional time together via video chat and only talking, and then we got to spend time together in person every single day, just talking and growing and talking together and doing counseling and doing all of those things. And, living the day to day, he was still going to work. I was still doing my schoolwork. We were doing our counseling. I was doing individual counseling. He was doing individual counseling, like video. But this time has been such a blessing for both of us. It's been hard. Like, it's not to say that it's easy, but it's been so good for our relationship and so good for us as people, as believers, as, just trying to get our lives kind of settled and figured out. And as a couple, we've grown so much, and I'm really thankful. And so now I'm getting married in 15 days. So he and I started talking January 5th, started dating January 10th. We got engaged June 11th and are getting married July 18th. It sounds crazy, sounds unreasonable, but I want to explain like everything that God has done for us, through us, to us, with us, through other people, for us. Like, I can't explain it all because that would be a week's long video. And this one's already crazy long. So that is our story. I know I'm by myself and it's kind of boring. He's at work right now. I actually am going to go into town and go see him and his family. But it's been a crazy journey, and people are asking me all these questions of like, how are you eloping, and are you just trying to avoid all of the technicalities of being a Christian? I'm like, no, we're getting married because we feel God called us to that. We are getting married because we've had lots of people confirm that that's what we should be doing, and we've had a lot of encouragement from pastors and leaders, and in a lot of prayer and guidance and all of that. And typically marrying somebody that you've only known for 6 months is crazy. But at the same time, he's my best friend. I know as much, we've shared as much as we can with each other so far, and we still learn new things every day, but we've shared our deepest, darkest secrets, our insecurities, our favorite things. He's met my people. He hasn't met my family yet. I've met his family. I love them, but he will meet my family, soon, like in the next month or so, or 2 months or something like that. But he, is everything that I've prayed for, and I'm just thankful for what God's done in our lives. So, that's our story. Again, I'm by myself. It's kind of boring, but everyone's been asking questions. So I wanted to give you guys that story of how online dating is good sometimes, and that just because you've only known each other 6 months doesn't mean you aren't ready. And also, I'm 29, he's 34. We know what we want in life in general. So it's like, we're not 19 and like wanting to wait a long time because like we want to have kids. We want to, start a family and go towards our plans in our future. And so not that I have to justify why I'm getting married after 6 months, but people were asking the story and they wanted more details. So here's the story. Those are the details. And that's all I have for you guys. So if you made it this far into the video, congratulations and thank you for watching. I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'm sure I can answer them pretty easily because it's not that complicated. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.